guys, Matthew from Fidelity here, and today we have an exciting review for you guys. The FiR KR5. It's a $3,000 IEM with 4 balanced armature drivers and 1 dynamic driver. However, the amount of drivers is definitely not important here, it's the implementation. And we're gonna, of course, discuss that in a minute. The $3,000 price tag is, of course, it's steep for a IEM. However, we think that it's well justified in this case, and you're definitely gonna see why as time goes by. In terms of unboxing, we get a pretty nice looking box. Inside of it, there is this leather pouch. It's pretty sturdy. Even though it doesn't have any fasteners or zippers like that, it doesn't just open by itself, so you can be sure that your IEMs are safe if you put them in a bag or something. There's nothing really spectacular here, however, functionality wise, it's perfect. It's just good enough, and yeah, that's what we like here. So often you're going to see IEM producers putting their products in those beautiful wooden boxes with metallic embellishments, and in my opinion it basically serves no purpose other than inflating the price unnecessarily. Here FiR Audio decided to go with a more functional route. It's just straight to the point and works well. In terms of build quality, FiR Audio have done it perfectly here. Of course, this is a heavier IEM, it's definitely on the heavier side. However, the steel elements are fitted perfectly. The overall construction looks clean, looks very beautiful. It's not flashy, they haven't really reinvented the wheel here. However, when you grab it and kind of feel the materials, you can really see the costs that went into this. All 3 of the IEMs in the New Frontier series can be ordered in both a universal and a custom fit. Of course, here we're talking about the universal model. However, even with the customs, the quality is top of the line. FiR Audio really set the bar high for every other IEM manufacturer. And as far as we know, they are actually the only ones to have matte shells in their offer, which is pretty amazing, and the matte shells look beautiful. I'd also love to own one in the future. The Krypton 5 offers quite a few new technologies, but the 2 most notable ones are kinetic bass and atom modules. Let's begin with atom modules. So basically, atom modules are those tiny filters right here on the IEM that allow you to switch between different options in terms of acoustic isolation for your earphone. And in turn, this allows you to apply some fine tuning to your sound. In this review, we've used the silver ones, which are kind of middle of the road ones, probably the most balanced of them all, so it seemed like the perfect option for a review. Now guys, kinetic bass. To me, this is the most exciting function of this IEM. This is a hybrid between bone conduction and air conduction, and it reproduces bass like nothing else. But also, I don't want to turn it into an hour-long video, so if you want to read more about the technologies used in this IEM, please go check out the written review. The link will be down below. Well, while we are at kinetic bass, let's go straight into the sound. So here we have something that's very different from a traditional run-of-the-mill dynamic driver bass reproduction. This is unlike anything else, because here we have a very strong punch. It's definitely on the stronger side. However, even though we have all of this magnitude of the bass, the grandiosity of this presentation, all of it is still so clean and doesn't really bleed everywhere. It doesn't get messy. No matter the song, no matter the recording, we have a strong, clean punch that I would actually say, in a way, improves both the technical performance and the overall tonality of the earphone. And this is really where the bone air conduction technology starts to shine, because the bass is so tactile. It's almost as if you can reach your hand out and touch whatever instrument or drum is in front of you. And I think a great example of this is the song Salvia by Health of the album Death Magic. This is the song where the drums are so aggressive and so dynamic. It's almost like they're trying to bash your head in. And together, this presentation combined with the tactility of the bass offered by the bone conduction driver, it makes for a really almost claustrophobic feeling, but in a good way. And this song really starts to sound like a tsunami coming on top of you. It's pretty insane and almost overwhelming, I dare say. For me, this is definitely a benchmark for how the bass should be implemented in an earphone, because here we have both the fun factor, the tactility, the engagement, while still maintaining lots of clarity, lots of control and technical prowess. If you're a fan of a more bass lean sound signature, of a little bit more toned down bass, then I would look for something else. However, if you like a strong, dynamic and tactile bass response, even without being a bass head, then those will definitely satisfy you. Like nothing else, basically. It's so unique in its presentation that you really have to try it out to appreciate it. Now, onto the mid-range. And here the story is similar as it was with the bass. On one hand, we have a smooth, mellow type of sound, a very pleasant thing to listen to, but we still maintain very good clarity, lots and lots of detail, and quite amazing dynamics. Another thing to note with the mid-range is how the bass lends itself to some pretty entertaining note weight. If you like listening to acoustic guitars and like that heavy stroke, as I mentioned in the Orbit review, then this is definitely going to surprise you. It's pretty strong, it's tactile, but it's still very controlled. For example, I listened to the track 7475 by the Connells, pretty classic, and when it came on, the sound of the acoustic guitar, it shocked me basically. It was like a little jump scare, because it seemed so realistic that I felt like, someone was playing this guitar right in front of me. It was quite insane, and I think you would feel the same way if you try this out. So one thing I would also like to mention about the mid-range, the vocals on this thing are quite amazing. Here, once again, I have to talk about the kinetic bass feature because I just love it. The bass kind of lends itself for a very good texture in the mid-range. So, for example, if you're a fan of male vocals, something lower, something that needs a little bit more rumble, like for example, anything that Leonard Cohen put on his album You Want It Darker, it's gonna sound amazing. Really, the texture is so full of resolution. You can almost feel his vocal cords just moving around, and overall, basically any vocal you throw at those, even like very high-pitched female or male opera vocals, whatever, is gonna do all of it very nicely. Now let's talk about the treble, and here yet again the story is quite fitting for the rest of the tonality. Here the treble is, it pushes a lot of information, lots of detail. However, what's interesting is that it's never harsh, it's never sibilant, while still maintaining a great amount of extension, great amount of basically any technical factor that you could judge treble upon. If you want something that's a little bit more sparkly, a little bit more spicy, and kind of shiny in the treble, then you might want to pick up a more analytical source for these. However, if you're a treble sensitive person, even very treble sensitive person, as is Pavel who reviewed those, you really don't have to be scared. Anything you throw at those, it's gonna be just mellow while still maintaining tons and tons of information. So no need to be scared right here. Moving further, let's talk about the soundstage on this IEM. Right here, there is a very good representation of the soundstage. We have something that's very spacious, a lot of air, a lot of clarity, and I still think that the kinetic bass feature has something to do with it, because the bass and basically everything in the lower registries is so well controlled that it allows for lots of air to pass around, and in terms of soundstage those are really, really good, and live performances are definitely gonna benefit from such a presentation. Now onto the imaging. And here I'm also going to repeat myself yet again. All of the instruments are so well grounded in the Soundstage. It's really like they're tangible. You can really reach out your hand and grab the guitar player or the vocalist. Well, of course you can really do that, but it's really convincing. It really makes you feel like you can do that. And I think it also ties together well with the separation and the Soundstage. Everything is very clear. There's no mess anywhere to be found. Basically, no matter the quality of the recording you're listening to, it's all presented in a very tidy manner, and the good dynamics of basically all the frequency response make for a pretty good tidied presentation. In terms of detail, as I've mentioned before numerous times in this video, these push a great amount of detail without being harsh, without being kind of sibilant. There's no problem in this, and I think it represents the top of the world in terms of IEMs. Now let's go on and compare the Krypton 5 to the actual flagship of the New Frontiers lineup, the Xenon 6. So in terms of the Xenon, we have a more fun, more kind of extreme sound signature. The lowest registries of sub bass and the highest registries of the treble are more extended, and overall we think the Krypton is a little bit more balanced while still maintaining that fun factor. And honestly, I would pick these over the Xenon any day, and there is $1,000 difference there as well. Don't get me wrong, the Xenon 6 is still a fantastic pair of IEMs, just a little bit different for a different audience, a different crowd. Maybe if you're looking for the most emotional, the most engaging presentation out there, the Xenons would be better for you. But overall, I still think the Kryptons are king due to how balanced their sound signature is. Another comparison that I would like to make here is with the Unique Melody Masked OG. So in a way, the sound signature is quite similar. We also have a bass boost, we also have an overall balanced sound with great technicalities. However, I feel like the Krypton is actually like a Mest on steroids. Everything that Mest does well, Krypton takes to another level, whether it's Soundstage, the dynamics of the bass, and actually it's quite a good comparison because both have this bone conduction DNA in them, and this goes to further show that the Krypton 5 is like a logical step up. If you love the Mest and have them, the next step for you is probably to get the Krypton, and you will be very satisfied. So in summary, I was really surprised when I heard this IEM. Previously I didn't even know that you could present bass this way, and how much impact bass can have on every other aspect of the sound. And yes, I know that $3,000 for an IEM is definitely not for every pocket, but when you listen to those, you can really hear where those $3,000 went into, whether it's any aspect of the sound or the build quality. Actually, Paweł, founder of FiR Fidelity, has mentioned to me numerous times while talking about the Krypton 5 that this is his favorite gear of all time. No matter if we compare in-ear monitors or overall full-size headphones, if he could pick one thing that he could get to keep, this would be it. And honestly, I kind of see where he comes from, because this is a very good IEM. So, thank you guys for tuning into this review. I hope you had fun. I definitely had a lot of fun listening to those. And let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.